When you find yourself surrounded by overwhelming darkness, where does your cry for help go? Well, today we're going to find the answer through a truly powerful song of deliverance. Welcome to the Pilgrim's Rest channel. Our purpose here is to introduce spiritual books that have been passed down through the generations so that every saint walking the heavenly journey may find rest, nourishment, and renewed strength. We're here to introduce Spurgeon's Treasury of David, chapter by chapter. And today, we're diving into the incredible song of deliverance found in Psalm 18. All right, to really grasp the sheer power of the victory in this psalm, we've got to start right where David starts. And let me tell you, it's not on some triumphant high note. No, he begins from the absolute bottom. I mean, just feel the intensity of that language. It's just, wow. Spurgeon points out that this wasn't just David having a bad day. It's as if he felt death itself had twisted these cruel ropes of pain all around him, just squeezing the life and the hope right out of him. He was completely hemmed in. And you see, this wasn't just some internal battle he was fighting. He felt this torrent of evil, like a flash flood of wickedness coming at him, threatening to just sweep him away completely. And Spurgeon makes a great point. This was so terrifying, it brought fear even to David, the hero who took down Goliath. This was a full-on, overwhelming assault from the outside. And then you get this image which just perfectly nails that feeling of, it's over. He uses the metaphor of a hunter's snare. Imagine that. He was trapped, just like a bird caught in a net, with every single path to escape completely cut off. So he's bound, overwhelmed, surrounded, and captured. It's a picture of total, utter hopelessness. So here's the crucial turning point. From this absolute rock bottom, with no human help anywhere in sight, there was really only one thing left for him to do. He cried out. And I love how Spurgeon highlights the progression here. First, David called, and then he cried. His prayer just grew and grew in desperation, in passion, and ultimately in faith. So, how does heaven respond to a cry like that? Well, this is where the psalm just explodes into its incredible climax. Because that desperate cry, it did not go unheard, not at all. In fact, it set in motion a response of cosmic, earth-shattering proportions. You know, as Spurgeon puts it, David's cry didn't just reach God's ears. It was like it rang an alarm bell in heaven. And God's response wasn't some quiet whisper. Oh no, the very foundations of the earth shook and trembled because of his wrath against those who were hurting his child. Just try to picture this imagery. God himself descends with so much haste and power that the heavens literally bend beneath his feet. His shrouded in darkness and storm clouds, a warrior on the move, concealed in a tent of thick vapors. The poetry here is it's absolutely breathtaking, isn't it? He rides upon a cherub, flying on the wings of the wind. This isn't just pretty language. It shows God commanding all the forces of nature and all angelic beings to rush to the aid of his servant. And then, after all of that magnificent, even terrifying display of cosmic power, the earthquake, the storm, the thunder, it all comes down to this one incredibly personal, tender moment. A divine hand reaches down from above, takes hold of David, and pulls him out of those overwhelming floods of trouble. So we've seen what God did, which is amazing. But now for the big question, why did he do it? David shifts gears here, moving from the rescue itself to the reason behind it, and it's all rooted in the very character of God. Now this verse, honestly, it can be a bit of a stumbling block for people. Is David claiming he's perfect? Is he saying he somehow earned his salvation by being so good? This is exactly where Spurgeon's insight is so incredibly helpful. Okay, so Spurgeon clears this up beautifully. David is not standing before God boasting about being sinless. He knew better than anyone he was a sinner. Rather, he's defending his integrity before his human enemies. They had slandered him, accusing him of evil. So David is basically saying, when it comes to your false accusations, my hands are clean, and God has just vindicated my righteous cause. It's a declaration of integrity, not a claim of sinlessness. And this is the most crucial point of all. After defending his integrity, David reveals the ultimate foundation for his deliverance, and it has absolutely nothing to do with his own merit. It's God's sovereign grace. God didn't save David because David was worthy. He saved him because God, in his own free and uncaused love, delighted in him. That right there is the heart of the gospel. This understanding leads us straight into this incredible transformation at the heart of the psalm. See, God's deliverance isn't just about pulling us out of the fire, it's about equipping us to walk through it. David goes from being a helpless victim to a conquering victor. And look at how practical this is. God doesn't just say, be strong. No, he girds us with his strength. He makes our feet swift like a deer's, able to stand on high places. He personally trains our hands for spiritual battle. He gives us the shield of his salvation and holds us up with his own right hand. He turns our weakness into his weapon. And all this empowerment leads to this one stunning, triumphant result. With God's strength, David could run through a troop of enemies or leap over an impossible wall. What were once insurmountable obstacles become opportunities to see God's power at work. So when you take this whole journey from the depths of despair through the thunder of deliverance all the way to the heights of victory, it can only lead to one place, a heart overflowing with worship. And what's so powerful is how we come full circle, right back to the beginning of the psalm. David just heaps one glorious title after another on God. He's not just a rock, he is my rock. Not just a fortress, but my fortress. You can feel it, can't you? Every single name is born from a personal experience of God's saving power, a testament to a heart that is completely overwhelmed with love and gratitude. And this, right here, is the triumphant shout that echoes through eternity. Our God is not a dead idea or a silent idol. He lives. He is alive, active, and eternally worthy of all our praise. He is the living foundation of our salvation, and because he lives, our hope and our song will never end. So as we close, let's just take a moment to reflect on this. In your own life's greatest battles, how has God revealed himself not just as your rescuer from the depths, but as the very source of your strength for victory? Thank you for listening to the Pilgrim's Rest channel. You're welcome to like, subscribe, comment, and share it with fellow pilgrims around you so that we can support and encourage one another on this journey of faith. Hope to see you next time.